Lord have mercy, Dios mío, what is going on? I don't know the whole detail. Can someone intelligently tell me the whole detail without any racial overtones? I saw a video of some Haitian individuals and African individuals destroying Chiapas in Mexico. And it's a Republican because they trying to build the wall. So I guess they afraid African. Let me educate folks on the conversation. Well, how did Africans end up in Mexico? And George Soros must be paying him. You know, the white Jewish billionaire who funded Black Lives Matter. First of all, there were Africans in Mexico. I'm not talking about the Aztec. If anybody come on my channel, okay, with that mess, you can call me a sellout and a coon. I don't care. Those mongoloids that you're talking about, and yes, it may be, and I'm not going to doubt that because one time Mexico and all the continents were connected, and we have earthquakes, the continents start to separate, okay? However, okay, and yes, everybody came out of Africa, but those indigenous Native American people, Mongoloid, came out of Asia, okay? And those people did not have Negroid features when Cortez came there. I know because I'm mixed with indigenous besides African and European, and I don't have a hairy body. I every time I wear shorts, ladies tell me that my legs look good, that, you know what I'm saying, when I wear sandals, that if he look good, I take care of my body, everything. I get in there, text me, do you shave? And I used to get made fun of in PE back in middle school, and mostly Hispanic, they said, do you shave your legs? I don't shave shit. I might shave my face, you know, when it comes to my beard and mustache, but I never shave, never no wax, nothing. And then when I started to read about multiracial background, before I knew about I had Spanish origin, all I know I was black and Native American. Then I found out that I was mixed, or I know I mixed with white, but I need verification of that. And I found that my grandma on my dad's side, besides having Choctaw, she had English in her, and my dark-skinned grandfather, both his parents, they have Creole besides Native American and black. And then next thing I found out later on, because my dad told me about my Native American roots when I was 6, 7 years old. 86, because I was turning 7 a year after I flunked the first grade. So I knew because my skin was not dark chocolate that I was not pure black. Okay, I grew up in the 80s, and there was colorism in our community. Your mama so black, mean dark chocolate, like, you know, West night complexion, or your dad and all other stuff. And those who are lighter than that, you know, because now you got camera skin. For my cousin, they dark. No, when I was coming up, we didn't say we dark, and I stick to that. I'm not dark. Dark as West night, dark chocolate complexion. I am not that color, okay? And I was giving some little favoritism for me, a little lighter skin tone. I'm not bright like Drake, but I wasn't dark like Wesley Snipes. So I did get a little favoritism. And anyone know who my shade, we did get favor, you know, get a little privilege, okay? Lighter shade privilege. You know, we're not too light, okay? In the 80s and 90s, okay? And so, point is, I knew that I was not a pure black person, okay? So when it comes to, then I found out in the 90s there were white DNA. Although my aunt did mention my dad, so we had Creole on her dad, my grandfather, my dad's side, my dad's dad. But I did not know until I got older. So when I did research on, and let me repeat my story again, but I would like to educate those who come to my channel. Back in '93, watched the movie Queen with Halle Berry, which Alex Haley roots. Triracial grandmother. She was black and Native American on her mom's side, who was a slave, who did did have consensual sex with the slave master and her white dad, okay? And Halle Berry played in pale makeup and wig, the older version, and Raven played the younger version, okay? Jess Smollett played Alex Haley's dad, and Mark played the old mean white stepmother who was beating on Queen, and her mom who actually sold her mom, and Jasmine Guy who played Wheelie Dwayne. You know, she's part black, part white, but she played part of the Native American Cherokee and black woman who fell in love with the master. Because when they were talking about Africa, I think it was the dad, and it was Isaac Davis, or it was, who was it, Paul robbers. One of them, they said, your people come from Africa. And she said, we didn't come from no Africa. My mom was Cherokee. That was her mom saying that. It was Jasmine. I remember. So she was black and Cherokee and white, actually, okay? So I knew, and so when I saw the movie Queen in 93, that's why I said, well, I got to do my research, okay? Then in 94, I saw Roots, okay? Because on the Family Channel, this had the Family Channel, Cable Network, they showed doing Black History Month, and I was in 8th grade, and I did not go outside. I watched the whole series of Roots from the beginning to the end. That Saturday, and then watch it Sunday too. Yeah, baby, I watched it because I want to know my history, okay? But I saw Queen when I was in 7th grade, 13 years old, and I started to question, even though before watching Queen, when my grandma revealed, my grandfather, who's black and American and English, on her dad's side, they had a Chato dad named American dad, he had English aunts. And I'm like, I got white. And I was talking to a girl who was considered white, but she had Pacific Islander and Native American. She went up here white, but she had blah blah. And if I was like, you know what, white? Well, if I have white in me, then I don't look white, but that's no different. My heritage either. So, and it's actually true. My third grandmother on that side of the family was an English and black woman, looked like a white woman. Okay, and married to my Native American child, third grandfather, and that's why, like my dad, we don't have hairy, and my dark skinned uncle. My uncle's dark skin. My dad is a little dark. He's milk chocolate, like Kelly Rowland. Okay, but he does get darker. He don't put on sunscreen. He stay in the sunlight. He get darker, but his natural color. At one period of time, looking at some 70 pictures, he was camera like me, but he got darker. My grandma, is milk chocolate too. She's a couple shades darker than me. But her lips are thin like a white person, just like my dad and my uncle. My aunt has a more fattening in her lips, but it's not thick like mine. They nose not too wide. They do have wide, but it's not too wide. And like my grandmother, her cheeks are she do have cheeks both. And so her dad had dark skin. My great grandfather, straight hair, no perm, no relaxer, no. He had long hair because when he's a Mason, he was a deacon. Baptist deacon. I'm a convert to Catholicism at 13 years old, but when I was, and my grandfather on my dad's side was a Gnostic, former coach, which is Church of Christ. But his father-in-law, which is my great-grandfather, he died at 68. He had thin lips, high cheekbones, not too much a wide nose, but still wide, and with dark chocolate, naturally so-called good hair, all hair together. Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? Straight silky hair, okay? And what happened when he was in the event, I guess, as a Mason or whatever he was, in 1920, somebody put acid on his scalp. And, back in the day, men wore hats even inside the building, and even during church, and until Candy said something about that in school, you know what I'm saying? So he put a hat on him, and his scalp burned. So all this year, he had to grow his hair long and do a comb over so it looked short and it would cover the bald spot. And like my dad said, before he died, my dad was young, he saw his grandfather hair down to his back, okay? And so, yeah. So, we, and my grandmother, her hair texture is different. It's kinkier, but not too kinky like mine. She had, like when she was hot comb her hair or relaxed, she had long hair too. Yeah. I'm not get all detail. So as I got older, and I found that my grandma on my mom's side, because my mom didn't raise me, okay? Then I found out on that end there was Native American on my great grandfather who's still living. And on his mother's side, she was black and Native American descent. And then his dad, they didn't go detail. All they knew that is their grandfather, like a white man. Talking about his grandfather. And that's what on the Ancestry.com 2016, I found more like when they put the green leaf and you put your family tree. And I remember, so I've been trying to find more family roots. And all I knew was black and French and Native American. That's all I knew, French, English, Native American. I did not know that my mother had English roots. And I did not know they had Spanish roots as well. Meaning, because somebody last name Real, that's Spanish. And Irish, because that white woman, the third grandfather, is, if you know about it, in 2016, the third grandfather, did like a white man, died in 54, born in 1870s after slavery, had a white mother. And I remember they said he had 3 quarters white, but he was quadroon. That meant that his father was a Creole mulatto. So they said he was French Creole, but he was not French on his mom's side. I cannot find records on his dad, and I'm soon by him passing at 19, passing for white. And married a white woman. They found out, and that's something happened wrong. Some evil thing happened, because when my Asian other cousin told me, they said, but on the record, because he has he's hearing impaired. He doesn't, aka deaf, I want to call. He said that he wrote it down on papers at Subway in April 2016 downtown before they closed, directed by FedEx. That it says white on there. Yeah, when he was born, 1875 or whatever, during Reconstruction days, they put white. His granddad passed as white, okay? But when he married my black Spanish Creole grandmother, because her dad was a Real, they both were classified as black. But it's funny, my second grandfather and his siblings were classified as mulatto. It's weird how they did that. Then, I'm not lying. Then my grandmother, who's black Spanish Creole, who that's in Real, okay, but they changed her Raus. She remarried another man, for real, and they classified her children as black. And then, of course, my second grandfather and his siblings from the first marriage as black. I don't know how they did that. It's just weird how they did it. So, yes, and then, of course, 1920, they stopped doing the mulatto category, and anybody with one drop black, then it was black, okay? So, and you know that certain states had their own one drop rules. It was 18% black, 1/4 black, whatever, how they did it. So it meant that my fourth grandfather was Spanish Creole. That meant that maybe his grandfather or great-grandfather was Spanish and married it. Like, they must say, well, you got more black. You know how they did it. You could say, but 19, he was mixed Spanish, because people don't know in Louisiana, they did own slaves. But unlike the Alabama South, that's mostly Anglo-Protestant, French men not only mixed, not just rape or Spanish men, they married the women, okay? And interracial marriage was legal in Louisiana. Yes, it was. Galvez, the name after Galveston, an hour from here in Houston, he was a governor in Louisiana, and he legalized interracial marriages. No joke, okay? So, most of us Creoles do have a French, mostly, or Spanish last name. And I have an Anglo last name, but tracing my roots, and I saw Real, and they say his parents were born in Louisiana, and he was born in Texas, 1840, something, whatever. That's my fourth grandfather on my other side of the family tree. That's my third grandmother's dad. That's how that happened, okay? So now I'm going to detail that. So then also my white grandmother, fourth grandmother on the other side, which is the one like a white man's mom, her grandmother was McCombs. McCombs is an Irish last name. She was white. I traced her roots to England, but her grandmother on her dad's side, my sixth grandmother, was a McCombs, which is Irish. Okay. So that's how. So my grandfather is technically, my great grandfather, who's still living, my grandmother's on my mom's side, dad. He's technically black, French, Spanish, Creole, English, Irish, and Native American, because his mother was mixed with Native American, okay? And the mother was born either out of affair or when he was not married. Talking about my second grandfather, because my dark-skinned cousin, who's on that side of the family, who is one of the descendants of the first set of that, before my third grandmother remarried, okay? He was like, who is this person here? I don't see that they're not married or they're not related to this. And I said, I don't know what happened, but I guess Grandpa, what's his name? He had an affair or had, something had happened, and that's how my great grandfather, who's still living, it was born. Okay, I don't know, outside of marriage, either affair, whatever it was, but he was married to somebody else, okay? Because the siblings are half. It's weird how, yeah, it is. So, not to go detail, but let me get to the subject, okay? So, now to educate, I like to educate people before we talk about why I claim I'm mixed heritage. Then, my great-grandmother, who died in 2007, she was dark-skinned, but her family from Louisiana, too, and there was French on that side of the family as well, Alexander, Louisiana. Her dad was from there. So, there's French on that side and French on that. So it's weird how that happened. It is. It's weird how that happened. But let's get to the subject. So as a black French, Spanish, Creole, English, and American who love Mexico, I had to talk about this, okay? That they're showing videos of African and Haitian immigrants who welcome to Mexico, and some of them acting a fool. This is a problem, okay? And you have Trump supporters are now making, but then let's go back to the history of Mexico. I love to educate. If I'm long-winded, get out the channel. I don't give a damn. In Colombia, Mexico, when it was after Cortez invaded Mexico, okay? He brought slaves from Africa, okay? From the southwest, from the west part of Africa, like many of us have. And they came from Senegal, like concerned Mexican. What's going on, you? Yes, he part Senegalese, okay, yes. And some other African country, yes. Yes. Yeah, he part black. Yeah, what's going on, you two? Okay, that old bald-headed, he has an African head shape, yes. Anyway, he don't look black, but he got the head shape, okay? In that nape area, okay? Senegal, another Nigeria, like I see on the DNA test of Mexican folks, like, dang, I ain't African, that's true. Burr Martinez has black in her too. And who else? I don't care if it's still part of their roots. I don't care if 2% still part. Jessica Alba, George Lopez, and many other. Okay, so they bought slaves. There was no one-drop rule. Anti-miscegenation laws like here in the United States. Okay, so yes, the Spaniards who were slave masters did rape, like they raped the Native American woman. But they also married the black woman and the American woman. So you had mestizos and mulattoes. Then they had to create this caste system. Because in the Spanish, Latin culture, even French and Portuguese, the white men didn't have, you got black DNA, I don't want your ass near me. Here in the doggone American, United States, Anglo culture, English descendant culture, mostly Protestant, they consider black DNA as a curse, okay? Misinterpret the Bible. And if you had one drop of it, you was considered less human. But the more lighter you were considered that's what that's where colorism comes from, okay? So what happened is in Mexico, you had a caste system. And the first people in the caste system were the Spaniards born from Spain. Then you had which is the white people, okay? Then you, in 19, probably not mixed with, because they had Moorish, Arabian, and sub-Saharan African mixture already. That's why those Spaniards were open race mixing, because they already had mixed ancestry, but they were classified as white, okay? Then you had the white people, maybe some mixed down, ain't no pure white, but you know what I mean, who was Spaniard, pure Spaniard, okay? Who were born in Mexico called Criollos, which is Creole, okay? And the Criollos in Mexico, okay, were the white Spaniards who were second-class citizens. Then in the middle were the mixed race people. Let's say, yeah, que vive la raza mixta, okay? Mestizos, mulattos, sambos, or lobos, whatever you want to call it. All the different mixed race names, okay? That means mix of black and white. Native and white, okay? You know what I'm saying? Black, white, and native all together. There wasn't no Afro mestizo. That's a new terminology, okay? But you know, and whoever this now, okay? Lobo, Albano, they had all their different names. And yes, they had all their different caste names. Then at the bottom was the native people who are pure native and the black Mexicans. The pure black Mexicans, okay? Pure, okay? No mixture at all. They were at the bottom. That's how racist and the caste system was created. How much white DNA or how white blood they consider in their caste system, how much civil rights you deserve to have. That's why it was racist, okay? The idea of Mexico kicking Spain out was because of that caste system. Because the white people who are pure had more privilege. The mixed race people, depending on how much white blood in that caste system, had a few privilege, and the native and the black Mexicans were at the bottom and they had no privilege at all, okay? That's why. So there was no one drop rule, and and you had free people of color, you had free people, free black folks who did kick the slave master out, like what's the Gaspar Yanga in Veracruz, okay? He was Nat Turner. And so these Mexicans today have all three, and also drop an Asian, because either Spaniards brought Asian slaves from the Philippines, especially the Afro-looking ones that they call Negrito. They brought the Asian, Asiatic ones too, okay? And Sheila Palomba was a Chinese slave or something. I heard it's a legend, and some of the Mexican women have a little Chinese. Yeah, that too. But primarily, the three races were the natives, the whites from Spain, and the Africans, which is the third root of Mexico, okay? So, they mixed a lot. Mixed. So, everybody, and so when they kicked the caste system out of Mexico, everybody was Mexican. There was no native Mexican, black Mexican, white Mexican, mixed, mulatto, mestizo, lobo, whatever, triracial, aka African. Everybody was Mexican. Okay, sound like Jose Marti in Cuba. There's no white Cuban, black Cuban, mulatto. Everybody's Cuban. Jose Marti. Okay, so then the second president come up, my hero, Vincent Guerrero, who was Afro-mestizo. So his mother was a black woman, Mexican, and dad was biracially mestizo. He was in the Revolutionary War, and he beat Spain. He helped beat Spain, and he became second president of Mexico. When the Anglos started bringing slaves to Tejas, which is here today, Texas, that's when he actually put it down that there will be no slavery in Mexico, even though it had history of slavery, okay? And the Creole, white people, Spaniard, they the one that killed Vicente Guerrero in 1831, okay? And Santa Anna, who fought here in Texas, was a Creole, Spaniard, Mexican, and he was on the Spanish side, but he became Vicente Guerrero's friend, and he was on Vicente Guerrero's side, and he was trying to stop slavery in Texas. These Anglo-Americans, and I'm mixed with them, I'm going to talk bad about my Anglo. I'm sorry, because when you read Anglo history in America, it is embarrassing, okay? That's why some Africans like to mention that, but then they act like the slave master when they want to kill you intentionally, not self-defense. Want to start beef with you, I'm going to call it like it is. You can't say, y'all ain't do provide racial stereotypes and call themselves niggas. Y'all doing y'all white men. I say, yes, that's a favor. Yes, I didn't say all. I said half y'all who fucking up within the ADS community trying to cover a white master, but no, his ghost is in you every time you act a damn ass fool and make it racialized, stereotypicalized, and then try to say we niggas. You sure doing his dream that Willie Lynch mess, acting like fiddlers and Aunt Jemimas. Okay, now let's get to Stephen DeChango, whatever. So Punis, Stephen from the DeChango movie. So and not to give a big history, but the reason why you know about the African mixture, because Jose Vasconcelos, who was part of the Creole class, okay, the white, he was sympathized with Nazism. He did live in Texas, and that's, I believe, the one-drop rule enforced this. Mejo La Raza. He had an essay called La Raza. La Raza Cosmica means the cosmic race. And it talked about the mixing of all these races in Mexico, but also Latin America. I do believe that Trujillo in Dominican Republic that's why he was a racist in Dominican Republic. I think he probably read his, I believe this connection with them. I'll rather find out. It's my hypothesis. Now let's get to the subject. Now, in that essay, he not only talked bad about the native, he talked about the black Mexicans too. And he did say, and I read in the Encyclopedia of Mexico when I was 20 years ago in Houston's Public Library right there in City Hall, and I had copies of this. And I got rid of it. I don't have a copy of it because I had public storage, and I was going through a lot, and they sold my stuff. And my grandma was getting upset all the stuff in my room. So yeah, so I put it for storage so I keep my stuff. It was in my folder, and it said that that we talk about how the Negro race was ugly, this and that, and he talked about how the Negro race will go away, will vanish, and this mixing will spawn a new mestizo, and you'll see more native and more white admixture in the Mexicans. And that's why you see most Mexicans do not look black, but you do see features like a certain Mexican with that old head shape. One school and that synagogue and the other African did, okay? And Selena's big lips, her wide shape and be nasty, the rump of the butt, okay? And her hair is naturally curly. You see Bitty Obama of 1994, that's how the natural hair she wore. And her husband, he has had juicy curly hair, okay? Okay, you will see it in like the nose, lips. You know, another you turn down to talk about him, the white skin, don't tell me his name up here, I'm talking about, okay now, that Negroid nose, he's like a white, thank you, yes, okay, I point that out. I'm very good at features and hair texture and skin texture, you can tell I am, even when I'm talking about my family members, okay, so point is, that's how you can tell. And then the darker skin tone side that come from the native side, it's coming from the black side. So that's the reason why that no one, like a Mexican dude, he start talking shit about me and being racist, or any other Hispanic person, Puerto Rican, whatever to me. I'm gonna point out the African features if you bring up the N word or even in your family. Mommy, dad, I don't care, cousin, because you can't talk shit. Just like I'm part Spanish. And I start talking about you being Hispanic. You can bring it up anytime that, hey man, you part Real, huh? Well, you know, your great program, you got Spanish in you too. You'll speak too. You know what I'm saying? You know, talk about me, okay, not him, okay? You can call me that word. It's the truth. You know, that's right. Y'all know me. I always call out who got who in me, and it's not just Mexican fighters to everybody on my channel. You can't talk about that white person. You know, for example, Umar Johnson. The darker skinned brother, he not. As I started seeing more features, not features, more pictures. He don't look so dark as much, but he seems a little darker. His high your dad with green eyes came out and said, "We are not pure black. Fair does not family tree, and I did not breed this mess that he believed today." And you can look and tell. So if Elmar Johnson said, "I can't stand crackers," a white person would say, "Excuse me, I look at your dad. He has blue eyes, light eyes. And you know, and you got, you don't look black, look white. You got white in you. You're not no full blown Negro. That's the same art. It's called hypocrisy. Okay. So the reason I brought the history lesson, y'all are very uneducated. Okay. So Jose Vasconcelos, he's the reason why Mexico banished its African heritage. The third rule for years until people start to bring it up. Gonzalo Aguirre Betron, one of the professors, Mexican professors in Veracruz, start to make a history about this, about bringing up the black part. I like his work. God rest his soul. To Gonzalo Aguirre Betron, a Mexican man who brought the history. I did a lot of research when I was 19, 20 years about this, and also when I was in the multiracial movement and before I turned grown. Because there's a question, how did Hispanics escape the one drop rule? And you know, and they mentioned Mexico history that the people didn't want to talk about. On Interracial Voice, there used to be a site called Interracial Voice about the multiracial movement, about the premium multiracial category on the census. So that's why. So when people talk about Africa, you don't see black-looking people, okay? You're going to see a small sector of them in Veracruz, which I was called Jarocho. That's El Paso, and Mexican from Juarez. Jarocho. He's called me Jarocho every time because I spoke Spanish. When I was in Job Corps in El Paso, Texas, they said, Jarocho. That's the nickname for Veracruz, okay? With a slave ship, went to Veracruz. Then you had Costa Chica, which is going to Oaxaca and Chiapas, where the Africans are fighting down there, and the Haitians. And there's Afro-looking people who live in indigenous communities there too. And even because the Grito Grande show people from Mexico, African-looking Mexican people. So, but the Mexicans who don't look black, it's in their DNA, okay? It's in their roots. Just like I don't look like a white man, but white men are indigenous. I don't look indigenous all the way, no. But you see here and there, you know, and my skin's not dark chocolate. You know what I'm saying? It's in my blood. Thank you. It's in my heritage. So that's no different. You might say, "Oh, them folks are black." But when you start to look at African Haitian people and see different shades, heritage, like, dang, y'all, you right, y'all all look alike. Because in our heritage, we don't have full-blown roots. We have white and Native American. There's the same for Mexican people who don't look black. They don't look black, but it's in them. We see in their features sometimes, and their hair is curl pattern, but it's in their bloodline, okay? It's in their roots, okay? So that's why they construct that race mixing, so it can get rid of. Just for example, you hear people saying going to Mexico, going to Dominican Republic, and they trying to lighten the black American. We already lighten up, dumbass. We have colorism, talking about the chemistry. But what they're saying, and they know because they're products of the chemistry on both, and him Peruvian Mexican side of the African mestizo mixture. That and I always ask that question before you start saying that African men who go to the Dominican Republic or Mexico or in Colombia, lightening their community. Did your Afro Latin ancestors in Peru and Mexico do the same thing to you? That's why you don't look black, because you can't talk. It's hypocrisy, right? So, but it was called Mejor la Raza to lighten up the community. And even the Trump supporters who are Hispanic, like I'm shocked that being considered Mexican's marital history or marital or relationships, he not married to a white racist woman. Okay? Just like you have an African man, a Jay-Z person who's single. Let's say he gets married. 9 or 10 is going to be a redneck, white, racist woman. Not no sister. That's Candace, or something like that. Or Diamond Silk. That's not time. But if he really wants to be with the white racist people and be white people, he going to 9 or 10 marry a white and hope that child come out looking like a Paris Jackson, like Michael Jackson situation, okay? You know what I'm saying? No, of course, Michael Jackson was not like that. I'm not here. I'm just saying someone can pass as white who don't look black, okay? And look what Quincy Jones is having. You know, right? We got that in our own family tree. Nobody's pure African descent in the United States. So when y'all make these comments about, well, did they bring how the African? First, the Africans already been there during the colonial period of time, and it's in these Mexican American folks and Mexican folks' DNA majority because there was no laws. Yes, one time they did stop the native and black because, let me explain why. And it's not a Catholic doctrine. Catholic individuals was afraid, since both African and indigenous were not originally Christian, all of Jesus was black, okay? The point is, the Europeans who came there and who was not acting Christ-like, but the reason why the Europeans did commit racism is through religion, because these majority of people were not Christian of color. Of course, the people of color came out of Jerusalem and educated and converted the Europeans who were descendants who were Gentile, because Jesus did tell his apostles to go preach to the Gentiles. Just in Rome and the rest of Europe was a pagan area. That's why Paul and Peter went there. And Peter did go to Rome. First Peter chapter 5:13, the church about us what St. Peter's Biscuit and Rome is that. That's right. That's why I'm Catholic. And he also warns about personal interpretation of Scripture in his second letter and twisting Scripture. See, Protestantism, that's what Protestant, no offense to any Protestant come from. That's what Martin Luther, and not Martin Luther King, Martin Luther, who white German monk, and the rest of the reformators, so-called reformers, made their own interpretation. That's why you have different denominations in Protestantism. But point is, he told them to go to preach to all nations, what we call Catholic, means universal in Greek, to Jesus in Matthew 28. The point is that they went to Gentile areas where they now were not Christian, being one God, only Jews did this period of time, and that's why they went to Europe. Wasn't for people of color from Jerusalem going up there, they wouldn't have Christianity. Let's be real, okay? But when the Europeans, and I'll let you, like I said, these were bad Europeans, because in Europe, some of them couldn't make it in Europe. So when they went to an area where they can get away with their murdering and raping and everything, and process of being Christian and wolf sheep clothing, that's why they did that stuff, okay? When Columbus came to the Americas and went to the Caribbean, when the King of Spain heard about Vlad brought it out, that he was arrested. When they found out in Spain that he was raping and enslaving the Native American people there, they arrested Columbus. They'll tell you about Columbus in October, that he was arrested for all his thuggery, okay? Being ratchet, didn't do nothing thug, okay? So, But the bad Europeans went to the America's New World because no one cannot question them or put them in jail. I mean, come on. If a criminal went to outside of the world where the laws were different, let's say, and you see this even with the doctors here in the United States. Remember about them going to Thailand or in Singapore, where one of those Asian countries, and they was having sex with children. These American doctors, mostly going to be racial, mostly white. Well, see how they got away with it because it was sadly legal. That it is sickening to say that it is sadly it's legal in some way. I don't know who in their head would allow it to happen, but it's legal there. But they in America could not get away with it. Well, same thing with Europeans who did all the raping and beating the Native American and the African people. They could not get away with there in Europe because they got in trouble. So they came to the New World and it was raised Christian, Protestant, or Catholic. They posture, no ain't gonna question their behavior being Catholic or Protestant, and they release it, and so they gonna get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest with you. If you was a weed smoker, okay, and in Texas you can't smoke weed, right? But you're gonna go to Holland, the Netherlands, and smoke it, and you don't have to worry about no cops harassing you. Nah, the cops smoking weed with you, okay? You know what I'm saying? Well, that's the same thing with the people in Europe who were bad Europeans. When they left Europe, and it was kicked out of Europe sometimes, like what happened in Australia, they did their little thuggery because they could not question them, and the natives and the Africans were ignorant to not being ignorant because their race, ignorant to their religion and their beliefs, because they was not intending to say, hey, doesn't the Bible say you can't do that? You know what I'm saying? If they knew, but they taught the Bible to be complacent with European supremacy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks don't know that. But the reason why, and speaking of Mexico, when they make it Catholic, those mixed race people took over positions in Mexico and beat Spain because they knew in their Catholic faith, just like in Haiti as well. Both Haiti and Mexico, their Catholic faith taught them that this stuff was wrong. Although you had some Haitians in Haiti, they did do voodoo against some French, okay? And see, Mexico, even the same French try to attack the Haitians, try to come over to Mexico, as we have seen Mayo, and trying to make it, was it Napoleon? Yeah, then it was him. He was a slave man. He was worse than Europe. Then it was him. Another French came worse than Hitler, because he did the same thing, Holocaust to Africans. A lot of folks don't know that. So, point is, not to get away from the subject of the video, but people need to realize that that's why. But let's get to the subject before I end this video. To those, I don't know whose side is evil, but to the African and Haitian immigrants, like I said about Lady Frijoles, who went to Honduras said it's pig food, they let you be there in Mexico. That's the reason to act ratchet in Mexico. And if it's our Mexican authorities being racist, don't be mean to people who are evil to you. Whoever's wrong, I'm not picking sides, have a right to self-defense. But whoever's acting ratchet, whether it be the Mexican folks down there or the African Haitian folks down there, y'all all wrong. Okay? And it's sad that, because it's a history, you have a lot in common. Even Kamine, who was Nigerian American, when he gave that money, he had that Mexican man get out of ICE with Trump. People was African folks and was upset. People know a lot of Nigerians and Mexicans do get along here in Houston. Even ones Nigerians who don't like us. You have, for real, you have Mexican American folks or Mexican folks who became racist, they got naturalized, and Nigerians, black folks, who will say that they hate African Americans together. I've seen it happen. When I was telling somebody about a certain instance, a Mexican man was disturbed by me bashing a Nigerian man. And like that was his, and let me explain why. Because some of the slaves went to Nigeria, and even Mexican folks when they do DNA tests, they start saying Nigeria on there. That's the reason why. And you have Nigerian marriages and Mexican when they saw. I love that marriage on Academy Border. Yeah, on me in TV3. And I remember staying with my grandmother. I watched that Nigerian. It was in Texas. They both were Catholic. Shout out to us Catholics. I'm a comfort. The Nigerian family and the Mexican American family came together, and a few of the friends of the Mexican American woman, and I like it. But her family and her dad in Mexico and her Mexican American mother's side, mother's dead. God rest her soul, passed away. They accepted this Nigerian man, and it was in church. They helped out in church and everything else. And it was a beautiful wedding. Like, I wanted to be there, and God bless those people. Okay, God bless that couple. But for real, you have Nigerian women marrying Mexican men and other African. So they do see a distinction of African people from Africa and African Mexican people. And yeah, they do say both together that ADS people are lazy. I've seen comments. Now we got a victim mentality, and they laugh. You know what I'm saying? But to see this mess goes on in Mexico, where Haitian and African immigrants and Mexican folks there not getting along. At first, I was happy seeing them get along, and I said, and whoever's wrong needs to stop. If you're an African or a Haitian immigrant there, they open arms to you. Please respect the country. If you are Mexican and you don't like the people there, the Mexican folks, the Mexican government allowed them there. Respect those people. They're humans just like you, and not they could be your distant cousin. Okay, do the race mixing. So stop. Okay, stop. Okay, you don't treat the white folks. Cause remember, white people came there in the United States to Cancun and said build the wall, and I swear, I wanted those Mexican folks to beat the crap out of those white race people at Cancun, saying build the wall. Trump, you in their country saying build the wall, bitch ass. Get your mother. I'm sorry to say, y'all lucky I'm not no some Mexicano. I would told, man, get your fucking ass out the country, for real. You know what I'm saying? I would told them straight up, for real. And yes, I got white American DNA in me, but guess what? Your one drop shit said I wasn't invited, like Dr. Phil told Treasure, okay? So, but I didn't mention my mix-up because it's part of who I am, but I don't go near white people who don't respect me. Once I find a so-called white friend who don't respect my multiracial heritage, we're not brother and sister and not friends, rainbow collision at all. I kicked you to the curb. And trust me, I had so-called white friends who did not respect my multiracial background. To those, when they see you ain't black, they not God, folks. I kicked their ass to the curb. And I do anybody else that way. Anyway, I gotta go.